Live with Miley, we have another amazing episode highlighting heroes. Emu, you're on. Come here. Emu, hey, okay. Come here, mommy. Come here, mommy. Okay. Come here, mommy. Look, mommy. You're live. You're live, mommy. All right, we're back for another episode of Bright Minded Live with Miley, highlighting Heroes Edition. Today, we're focusing on the economic impact of COVID-19 and on our communities and how we're seeing this affect one of our basic daily needs, food. Whether it's restaurants who are figuring out how to survive with takeout or delivery only, to employees of restaurants who have been let go, to families across the country who are wondering how they're going to pay for groceries after losing their jobs. Food and the food industry, they're a huge part of this pandemic. Food and the food industry, that's a huge part of the pandemic, and there has been a spike in people without access to healthy, reliable food. So I am so excited about our heroes that we're highlighting today because these people are making sure that the communities in need stay healthy. They're making sure that the communities in need stay healthy and fed during this time. But before I introduce them, I wanted to share some of the heroes that you all have submitted. From Sam Silverstein, I love this one so much because you know I am so close with my mammy, my grandma. She wrote, "My hero is my grandfather. He donated hundreds of masks and gloves to COVID units at local hospitals. He was able to do that because he had to close his dental practice until he is instructed that he can open and continue working with his own patients." Sam, thank you so much for sending this in, and thank you, Grandpa. This next hero submission is from Chris Carpenter in the UK. This next hero submission is from Chris Carpenter in the UK. He wrote, "I would love to have a shout out for my amazing partner, Lewis, who is a paramedic fighting the pandemic. Despite being a police officer, I take my hat off to him for his hard work and dedication that helps others. Thank you, Lewis, for your service in the NHS, keeping people in the London area safe and healthy." Last one I'm going to share for today is Rosie, who says her local heroes are her work team. She says, "I work for a nonprofit in Florida, and my team is awesome. We work every day to ensure that even the most vulnerable populations have their needs met. Now more than ever, people are needing assistance, and we're so happy we are able to make a difference in our local community." So thank you, Rosie. You and your team are definitely some of our heroes, and we're really grateful for all the work that you're doing. Emu, he's bailing. All right, so please keep sharing your heroes with me. Don't forget, you got a hashtag highlighting heroes, and I'll keep sharing with you and all the audience this week. So I am really, really excited about my next guest. Our first guest today is a world-renowned Michelin-starred chef, Jose Andres. He moved to the United States when he was 21 years old, and now he has restaurants all over the country. But I think even more impressive is his humanitarian work. Chef Andres founded the nonprofit World Central Kitchen in 2010 to feed people in the time of crisis. Since then, World Central Kitchen has served more than 16 million meals globally, being there in times of crisis in places like Haiti, Mexico, the Bahamas, and the US. Chef Andres was awarded a 2015 National Humanities Medal from the US government and was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Right now, he is leading World Central Kitchen's hashtag Chefs for America program, which is providing fresh, healthy meals to families in need and to the frontline workers, all while putting restaurants who have suffered economic losses back to work and using their skilled employees to make much needed food for people who otherwise wouldn't have it. In LA alone, in partnership with the Red Cross and Los Angeles Unified School District, World Central Kitchen is feeding 40,000 students and their families each day, and that is just in Los Angeles. The need right now is so great, and so I'm really excited to connect Chef Andres now to hear more about his work on the front lines. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for being on the show. It is my honor to have you.
Thank you for having me. I mean, oh my God, my daughters now, I'm going to be their superhero finally after so many years because I'm talking to you. Thank you
I
for
can't
having me,
believe
Mike.
I can't believe this is what you have to do to be considered a superhero after all the work that you've done. You're definitely a superhero to me. And it's funny, I've had so many people like on the show last week. I had Selena Gomez, Alicia Keys, Elton John, and I told my friends you were on the show, and everyone was like, I'm obsessed. I can't believe it. This is the first time my friends are actually tuning in. So you and I have something in common. We made each other cool today. You know, I've been seeing you cook with your daughters at home, and it reminds me a lot of the relationship that I have with my dad. You know, he taught me how to sing and play the guitar. And so just passing on like that skill and that passion, you know, when I only have dogs, I have no kids. So they kind of see me at all stages of my feeling of this pandemic, whether it's in the panic or the peace. How do you stay positive for your girls when you are firsthand seeing such devastating impacts?
I think the best can be always happening is when we become people of action, the best of everybody shows up. Everybody can be helping. If you are at home and you stay home and you take care of your family, you are already helping. If you are able to be helping, I don't know, the person next to your home or in your apartment that is an elderly person and all of a sudden has nobody to do their shopping, if you are able to provide for that a person that needs your help and you do it, maintaining distance and make sure that you follow all the sanitation protocols, you're already saving somebody. If you are retweeting a good positive story of somebody doing good in the community, you are already helping. If you are donating $1, you are already helping. It's so many ways that you can be helping. In my case, because we've been doing this now, Miley, for many years, we always say that cooks like me, we feed the few. But in emergencies, we have the possibility and the honor to be feeding the many. And at the end, chefs, cooks like me, we work well in chaos. Kitchens are sometimes a little bit like mini chaos. And in emergencies, chaos is everywhere. So I'm very happy that now we are this amazing team of cooks all across the world and volunteers that we are able to put our service, our two hands, our brains, and say, wherever there is a person that needs a plate of food, we will show up and make sure that we start building a better world, one plate of food at a time.
Absolutely. You know, I was thinking about like my relationship to kind of like food and cooking, and I always had this idea that I wasn't very good in the kitchen because I didn't grow up with that being a huge part of our life. Even though we're super country, it was always my grandparents would come over to cook for us. We had 5 brothers and sisters, so the kitchen was definitely chaotic in my house because there was all of us never wanted the same thing. You know, all of us, all the 5 kids always want something different. But I was thinking about cooking and what you just said and how almost the kitchen is mini chaos and it can kind of be some sort of a mirror, a reflection of this large scale chaos that we're going through right now. And something that I think is really, really important in cooking is timing and, you know, your efficiency with your timing. And from the beginning that we're being told, wear your mask. You know, in LA right now, it's mandatory, you wear the mask. It's about not doing it later, doing it now, doing everything on time in a timely manner. You know, when we're being told it's important to social distance, do it now. Don't wait until someone that you love gets sick or loses their life. Like, you have to work. It's really about timing. And I think us, you know, it's really important that we're on it now, but we were a little behind. We were a little late to action. And that's how it really gets to the crisis as it is now, by not working in the best amount of time as possible and being active now. You can't wait in a time of crisis.
And I think, especially young people, in so many ways, I think to love each other right now is to stay away from each other. And, you know, now that the spring is coming everywhere, that it's been winter, you have this urge of going out and blending with people and seeing your friends. But, you know, my daughters, they've been home already for the last 4 weeks. And believe me, we are very lucky because we have good space in the house. And I feel sorry for many people that sometimes they live in one bedroom apartment and sometimes there are many people. Many of the places we see in America with big problems is where you have many individuals sometimes living in one studio. So we need to be thankful for what we have. And if the thing we have to be doing is sacrificing ourselves by staying home and really following our health advisors and experts, and the best way we have to create a better world is by, staying home and not going out, and keeping away from each other. This way we're saving lives, because then the hospitals are not going to be overwhelmed, and all of a sudden our nurses, our doctors, they're going to be in better shape and not overwhelmed with the amount of people arriving sick. So everybody has the option to be part of the solution by thinking like, all of a sudden planet Earth, we are all one people. And if we do that, it's amazing. You don't have to do a lot to be a superhero. If you stay home, in my eyes, you are a superhero. That's the way we can be changing the world, with very small gestures of little sacrifice and empathy.
Yeah, and I think that's what can feel really scary at this time, feeling like you don't know what to do, what you can't do enough. But that is something simple that, like you're saying, that's enough. If that's what you can contribute, that's enough. Keeping your distance and following what healthcare are advising us to do. Something that really stuck out to me, about your work is that you're able to step in and help quickly because of your experience, because you've done this many times before. I think that's what's been really terrifying for me, is this is something new. And nothing that I've really exercised or experienced. So I read that you're responding in 35 cities in 15 states across the country, which is amazing. So how does your experience with World Central Kitchen over the past 10 years responding to natural disasters and humanitarian crises prepared you for the current emergency that we're seeing now? And how is it different than what crisis you've experienced before?
So for me, I always believe that we are always learning. Like people say, "Oh, Jose, you're experts." I say, "No, we're not experts. We are learning with boots on the ground, hands on." So for many years, since I created World Central Kitchen, I began responding to the earthquake in Haiti, in Port-au-Prince, and it's when I began learning how my talent could be feeding people in camps, people that lost their homes. And I began putting that knowledge into service. We had a lot of experience, for example, with cholera, like in Mozambique, like in Port-au-Prince itself. So we learned how to manage cholera. All of a sudden, when Yokohama happened, that the Princess cruise ship had 6,000 people, many of them Americans, nationalities from all over the world. We went there and we began feeding the people in the cruise ship. Then we went to Auckland and we began feeding the people in the cruise ship in Auckland. All of a sudden, we began fighting this pandemic very early on, and we began getting ourselves ready to cover the needs. Who needs the most help right now? People are losing their jobs. People don't know, families don't know what to bring to the table. Some people are undocumented and they're not receiving any aid from anybody. And those are the same people that are making our lives easier, sometimes working in the golf courses, in supermarkets, in our kitchens. The least we can do is be there for them. So I feel like World Central Kitchen, we're here observing what everybody is doing, and we're covering the blind spots. Before we know, we're going to be doing 250,000 meals a day. And what we do is, again, this. We find the local communities that need help. We find people that we can partner in those local communities, and we empower them to make it happen. That's what we do. One meal at a time, we began solving problems. Some of the biggest problems, Miley, in the world, they have very simple solutions. Boots on the ground, listening to the locals, what their needs are, and just partnering with them to cover those needs.
I love what you're saying, and I think it's super
Connecting. Yes.
Much better, connecting.
What's going on?
I wanted to go back
Wi-Fi
to.
is in fire.
I wanted to go back to what I want to go back to what you're saying because I think it's just super, super important. Could you kind of go back to just talking about like how important it is to be involved and the food staff and chefs and everything?
Listen, one of my heroes, I met him over 27 years ago in Washington, D.C., Robert Egger, a food fighter. He created DC Central Kitchen. When everybody was talking early days on not wasting food, he's the one that was saying that actually what we need to do is not wasting people's life. So the food became the way to make sure no life will be ever wasted. He took people out of the street, trained them to be cooks.
That's amazing.
In the process, providing meals for the homeless population in DC. I joined him very early on. We opened hundreds of kitchens around the country following his ideas. Robert Egger told me that charity seems is about the redemption of the giver, when charity should be about the liberation of the receiver. Miley, this is very important. When we want to do good in the world, it's not good enough. We need to do a smart good. That's what World Central Kitchen tries to do. In Haiti, we needed to empower young women to learn cooking skills. So if tourism was going to be a way forward for Haiti, we could provide great young women trained and being able to fill the needs of the restaurant industry in Haiti. Today, 10 years later, we have this cooking school for young women in Port-au-Prince that we empower them to liberate themselves by learning a skill and by having jobs that are paid properly. In this process, we are moving the world to a better tomorrow. In emergencies, food and water are two of the most important necessities. They cannot wait next week. They cannot wait next month. When you're hungry, the urgency of now is yesterday.
We're frozen again. Hold on, I want to make sure I get this. Wait. All right.
We have Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi